Today's video is about the biggest losers. I took the name after that TV show where the heavy people would come on and see who could lose the most weight in their time at the camp. But before I get into that, I want to address a question that was raised to me, and that is, if you're a long-term investor and you believe in Apple and Google and Facebook and the big six, why would you want to buy a depressed and risky stock in the future? And the answer is because they're cheap money. They're easy money. And what I mean by that is when I got into this when the pandemic hit in early March, I immediately identified that there were some awfully good companies that were selling at a very depressed price, to include McDonald's, American Express, Valero Oil, Starbucks, Uber, and I knew they would come back. They're good companies, so there was no reason why they wouldn't come back. I didn't know when. And as the pandemic progressed, in fact, they did. I ended up making about 35% on Valero, about the same on American Express, about 25% on McDonald's. And last Tuesday, I sold them and took my profits, and I now sit with about 38% in cash. And we did see last Thursday another depression in price and a movement down. And I got to thinking that if that's all there is, are there any other opportunity stocks, what I would like to call them, that I might be interested in? So that's why I'm looking at the biggest losers. Before I get down to the specifics on that, I want to say to those of you who have not been regulars at this channel, we have about 6,000 subscribers now. What we are is a group of investors, a tribe, I like to call it, who have a common interest in learning from each other and growing and increasing our wealth while we're doing it. So what I wanted to happen is starting to happen, and that is that some people with better knowledge than me in certain areas are writing me and making suggestions and informing me of some things, such as an engineer who's worked for years in the oil fields in Saudi Arabia has written me and said, Kerry, there are a number of oil companies, drillers over here, whose stock prices are extremely depressed, and their stock will double, triple, and in some cases, he says, grow tenfold once we get oil back to $30 to $50 a barrel. Well, when will that happen? Well, I'm quite sure it will start to happen when you and I get back on the highway, when we're comfortable driving. I just put about 300 miles on my car this last week, going over to pick up my grandson to spend some time with me. So I'm back on the road. Once the airlines get back on the road, once the trucks get back on the road, the prices of oil will go up. So he's saying to me, I want to share with you my knowledge at this point, and I'm going to share the email he got back to me with on my Monday's market report. Now, for those of you who don't know, I have a website, bestofusinvestors.com, and there you can give me your email address. And every morning, 5 days a week, or whenever the market is open, I will share with you my observations, my thoughts, and what I'm planning to do for the day. I will include this letter from this Saudi Arabian engineer so that you get a heads up on what might be happening and what might be available. And maybe you can do some research, or maybe you know more about it and you can share it, and then I can share it with the tribe. I probably won't share this on a general video. It will be basically reserved for the members of the tribe, and all you got to do to be a member of the tribe is go to bestofusinvestors.com and register. Now, let's get to the biggest losers. Here's how my mind worked. I said basically, is the airline industry going away? No, no. We know we're still going to travel by airplane. The question is, when will it be strong enough to come back? I don't know the answer to that question. Then you have the cruise lines. At first, I said to myself, "There's no way in hell I'm getting back on a cruise ship." And I've been on them that have 6,000 people plus 2,000 crew. In fact, the captain bragged that we had 8,888 people on this ship today. Well, that was not that long ago. But nonetheless, I thought, no, I probably won't. And then I read last week that they've announced they are not going to have any cruises leave U.S. ports until after October. The cruise ships will come back. Are they strong enough financially? And if they are, when is the right time to buy them? And I'm going to get into that. I want to show you some charting that I've done that I think can give you some direction. And then the third one is the shopping malls. I'm familiar with Simon Properties. They are an Indianapolis company. I went to high school and college in Indiana, and so I'm familiar with the Simon family. Okay, let's look at the charting I've done here, and we'll start with Boeing Airlines. What you see here is a chart for going back to March, and you can see the dive they took here substantially all the way down from looks like $350 down to about $100 or maybe a little less. But what I'm interested in is this here. They moved sideways for a while and then they started to climb. And what I marked here is charting is you find a bottom and then you find within 10 days another matching bottom, and then you chart up and find that channel. And that's what they were trading in. And then you see they took another turn up, and then they started reversing down. And they crossed over this trend line here to start a new trend down. Now I see a gap here at 154, and then I see a very attractive gap at 121. So I would watch this now on a daily basis to see if they hit the 156 down from 187, and with depending on the momentum that they are coming down there, I may go ahead and buy some. But what I'm really hoping to is to buy down here at 120. So in my case, I might buy 100 shares here, and if they hit 120, I might buy another 200. So I got 300 shares in it, and I'm looking for it probably to give me a 25% return. While staying in the airlines, let's look at Delta. And here you see a almost an exactly the same chart. And again, you see a sizable gap down from their current trading at 29.51 down. There's a gap at 23.51, and that's close to their low of $18. So if I could buy Delta down here at $23 or $24, I certainly would. And that's what I'm saying about the opportunity, because again, if I get it at 23 and it goes up 10, 11, $12 to 34, I just made 25% on my money. I can't pass that up. Now let's look at the cruise lines. Let's start with Royal Caribbean here. Again, very similar charts. And here you had a straight line going up, and then you saw they crossed it, came down on June the 11th, did a little sideways trading, and started to form a downward pattern. Now I see them coming down, and I've got a gap at about 45. They're currently trading at 55. And then I've got another sizable gap down here at 37. So I'll do the same thing that I'm doing on Boeing and Delta. And now put this in your mind, that chart, and I just switched to Carnival. Exactly the same chart. So you can watch one and see what the other one is going to do. Again, a sizable gap, trading currently at 1783, and a sizable gap down to 1254. Again, buying it at $13 and getting a $5 gain, getting back up to 17 where it is now, is about a 30% return on your money. That's easy money. These cruise lines aren't going anywhere, and I could show you something I received from Saudi Arabia, that it is one of Saudi Arabia's major holdings, the sovereign fund. They bought 10% of this company. Okay, now let's look at the one I'm really excited about, and that is Simon Properties. Again, a chart going up, and then a turnaround on June the 20th, and almost a straight turn down. 1, 2 red lines. Now, the other thing I like about this is they had entered in a contract, I think it was back in December or November, to buy a sizable competitor, and it was going to take a lot of their cash away from them. But they were able to get out of that purchase. It was just reported in the last week in the Wall Street Journal. And so that cash is there. I looked at their quarterly report for the end of March, and they have I think it was about $7 billion available to them. So I tried to buy it at 66 on Friday. You can see it actually got down to 67. I'm confident it's going to come down to this high here was, what was it? High was 64.49, 64.50. I'm confident it'll get below that this next week, and it may even come down to the $53. Again, I'll buy some here, and then if it comes further down, I'll buy some more, because this is going to be easy money. Again, if you can buy it at 52 and you just get it back to where it was, 52 plus 25 is in the 70s. You've got a 50% return on it. So this is opportunity money based on the biggest losers. So I believe I will buy Simon Properties. Is it a long-term holding? No. As I said earlier, there are some opportunity stocks that I will buy into and look to make another 25%. That builds my cash, so that, in fact, if we do have another downturn, or if an opportunity to buy more Tesla or Google or Apple or Facebook comes along, I can take advantage of it. So those are my biggest losers. Those are the ones that I want to look upon as opportunities to build my cash reserves, so that I can go forward with the big six. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, the big six, it comes from a book written by Amy Webb, and explains the artificial intelligence. And then and that's in the description, and you can click to Amazon, and I'll get about 35 cents if you buy it. And then after you read that, you must read this. This is The Future is Faster Than You Think, and it is a futuristic book. It is very detailed as to what is happening in artificial intelligence, 3D printing, biogenetics, and robotics, all the autonomous automobiles. This is a look into the future. Again, in the description, a link. I just really encourage you to read those two. And then if you want more history as to how we got to where we are, relative to stocks and our society and the world order. The Accidental Superpower by Peter Zien is also an excellent read. That is how I think if you want to become an astute stock trader and become a part of our tribe so that you can be not only a recipient of good information, but also a contributor, we can grow together. I look upon this as something that I don't know where you can find this elsewhere. That you can put the mind, you potentially through the internet, and again, it's the convergence of technology. Through the internet, we can bring a million minds together and benefit from each other's knowledge, our experience, our interest. That's just unheard of. But that's what Best of Us Investors is all about. Join us.